Hello everyone and welcome for a new Dead by Daylight video. After 6,334 hours played on PS5, 894 hours on PS4, got every single characters, played them all, and got the platinum twice on PS4 and PS5, I have decided to make a top 5 of the most difficult killers to play with a controller. For some killers, there is a huge difference between keyboard and mouse and controller. This list is just my opinion, based on my own experience. Also, for some killers that I'm going to put in the list are killers that I rarely or never play. But there is a reason for that. So, if you have a different opinion about one of the killers that I put in the list, you can let me know in the comment section. I'm really interested to know who you think is one of the most difficult. Now, let's see the first killer. For the first one, I have decided to put the Blight. He was introduced as the killer of the chapter 17, Descent Beyond. His movement speed is 4.6 meters per second, his height is average, and he has a 32 meters terror radius. So for me, this is one of the strongest killers in the game, but not in my hands. To be honest, I'm pretty bad with the Blight. I only play this killer for Rift or daily challenges. That's all. I like to face him as a survivor. I also like his mechanics. His power is based on the hunt and gives him a good map control. It's really interesting. I also think on keyboard and mouse he is not easy to learn to play with. So I guess you need a few times to start to understand what you can really do with him. So what makes him difficult on controller? I will say the turns. I find it difficult to take good turns using his power. Also, it's not easy to hit the survivors when they are going for 360s. A high sensitivity and a high FOV is good for the Blight, but you have to practice hard with this. Killer number 2, the Trickster. He was introduced as the killer of the chapter 19, All Kill. His movement speed is 4.6 meters per second, his height is average, and he has a 32 meter terror radius. Same as the Blight, I play him sometimes for my Rift or daily challenges. I think the Trickster is one of the most difficult killers to play as with controller. I really struggle playing him. His power is pretty basic, you're just throwing blades, but you will need to hit with many blades to injure the survivor. That's why his movement speed is the same as M1 killer. So, what makes him difficult on controller? I will say to be accurate. His movement speed makes it a little easier for basic attacks, but if you want to play with blades, it will be hard to be accurate. It's better to play with a high sensitivity and a high FOV. Killer number 3, the Cenobite. He was introduced as the killer of the chapter 21, Hellraiser. His movement speed is 4.6 meters per second, his height is tall, and he has a 32 meter terror radius. This is a killer that I'm really bad with. I almost never play him, even when I have a daily challenge, I just skip it. He has the ability to catch you and slow you down with his chain. His power is strong, but I don't like to play him because it's too hard for me. Even for few matches, I don't find it really fun. So, what makes him difficult on controller? I will say, control the chain. On controller, it's a real nightmare. If the survivor is pretty close, it will be easier. But if the survivor is pretty far or make a turn, it will be hard to quickly change the direction of the chain. Killer number 4, the Huntress. She was introduced as the killer of the chapter 5, A Lullaby for the Dark. Her movement speed is 4.4 meters per second, her height is tall, she has a 20 meters terror radius and a 45 meters lullaby radius. Because she's my main character, I can tell you that she's not easy at all to play on controller. Her power is pretty simple. You can throw hatchets. She is the killer with the longest range in the game. You can hit survivors across the map. Her gameplay is unique, that's why I like to play her. So, what makes her difficult on controller? Same as the Trickster, I will say to be accurate. Aiming with controller is not as smooth as on PC. I find it really hard to correctly follow the survivor's movement. A high sensitivity and a high FOV is better for the Huntress, but it's hard to get the hang of. And the killer number 5, I will put the Oni. He was introduced as a killer of the chapter 14, Cursed Legacy. His movement speed is 4.6 meters per second, his height is tall, and he has a 32 meters terror radius. I really like to play as the Oni. Even if I don't play him that much, I find it really fun. His power is strong and puts a lot of pressure on survivors. The thing is, the survivors will try to not get hit. They will try to delay his power. So be ready to eat a few pallets pretty early in the match. So, what makes him difficult on controller? I will say the turns. When you use his power, it's really difficult to flick when you want to hit a survivor, especially when they are going for 360s. A high sensitivity will help you for this, but it's still really hard on controller. Here are the 5 killers that I find difficult to play on controller. If I have to make a ranking from 5 to 1, it will be 5. The Huntress. I put her number 5 only because she's my main. I have many hours with her, I know some trick shots that you can do, but I really understand if she is in your top 3. Number 4. The Blight. I put the Blight number 4 because his power is less difficult to use than the power of a ranged killer. I could put the Oni number 4 because his power one-shot, but with the Blight you can use it more frequently. Number 3. The Oni. Same as the Blight, his power is easier to use than the power of a ranged killer. His power one-shot survivors, but you need to charge it before to use it. It means you cannot use it all along the match. Number 2. The Trickster. I put him number 2 because even if it's difficult to be accurate with the blades, you can throw a lot of them before to be empty. And number 1. The Cenobite. I put him number 1 because his power is really hard on controller. The thing is, he is a powerful killer, but if you miss your chain, you will waste a lot of time. Because if you miss it, you will probably lose the chase, and the survivor can take a lot of distance. That's why I don't really like to play him. I also talk about the sensitivity and the FOV all along this video. This is a thing. High sensitivity and high FOV will always be better for you as a killer. You don't have to play the highest sensitivity to be better, but you have to find the good one for you. It depends on your gameplay. For example, with the Huntress, I play with 75. I tried more, but it wasn't comfortable for me. I still recommend to you to play at least with 75, and for every killer. Why? Because under this, it's easier for survivors to dodge your hits. At 75, you have the good sensitivity to counter that. And in my opinion, the FOV at the maximum is the best. But this can be another video topic. So I will say it again, but I make this list with my own experience. If you think that another killer could be in the list, you can let me know in the comment section. And you can tell me your top 5 as well. Thank you for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one and see you for another Dead by Daylight video.